Gentlemen, welcome to this week's edition of The Whistleblower. My name is Ian Trent, and joining me is our outstanding panel of water polo personalities. Thankfully, after last week's State of Origin, no one on our panel this week is from Brisbane. But first up, the former FINA referee and now the general manager of The Whistleblower himself. Good evening, Phil Bauer.
Good evening, Ian. Looking forward to tonight as usual.
Absolutely, it's going to be a good one. Australia's most credentialed referee and enjoying Melbourne's freedom from a lockdown. Yay! Good evening, Danny Flahive.
Good evening. It's certainly good to get out and about, and good win by the Maroons. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say that. But anyway.
Settle down, friend. Okay, no cases, no deaths for 20.
Yeah, no, we're all good. We're happy to be out and about. Masked off, fantastic.
Unbelievable. Okay, you've done a good job. There's no doubt about it. The future president of the Essendon Football Club says thank you. And from the nation's capital, it's the former FINA referee and general manager of the Australian Water Polo League, Noel Harrod. Hi, Noel.
Ian, how are you? It's all good here. All the politicians are going home, so it's pretty good in Canberra. Mate, territory.
We're into international rugby season. You'd be happy. It's okay. All right, some communication notes. If you'd like to ask our very special guest tonight, Boris Margeta, or anybody on the panel a question, have a look down the bottom of your screen. Put your mouse down the bottom there. See the Q&A box. Press it. It'll come up and write us the question. We'll do our best to get you on and answer it. Well, we'll read it. It'll be answered. Okay, so that's that. Our communication elsewhere, we've been speaking about it right throughout, and we should have a little bit of a slide with all of our communication networks, for the want of a better word. Where is it? Come out. There's our email, Instagram. Where are we, Scotty? The Facebook page. Right, you can see a replay of this on the Facebook page, and you can watch it live on the Facebook page, right? So let's do that. Also on YouTube there. So it's episode 15 of The Whistleblower, and a bit of news around and about. The one big thing during the week, I think, gentlemen, was new board of Australian water polo was announced. Is that exciting, Phil?
Yeah, a lot of new faces there, Ian. No longer anyone from Queensland or Western Australia or South Australia. So, yeah, it's a bit different. Greg Turner from Sydney Uni. Don Cameron from ACT is also on the TWPC. Two very experienced people.
Yeah, Donald certainly brings some new ideas, and that should be good. Okay.
Balance.
If there's no other news of note, let's go to our referees segment now. It's questions and answers, and Danny's going to take us through some uncommon scenarios, part 3.
All right. Okay, we'll start off with this is a very interesting one. I'll read it out. A white player in attack is positioned 10 metres from the blue team's goal. The white player passes the ball to a player on their team close to the sideline and inside the 6 metre area, but the pass is blocked by a blue player who is also inside 6 metres. With a clenched fist, the ball rebounds to another blue player. Okay, what a lot of people have thought in this situation is that if you punch the ball inside the 6 metre area, no matter where you are, it's a penalty. Okay, a lot of people understand it that way, but that's incorrect. So the penalty only comes from where a goal would have been scored. So what they're saying here is the white player is passing the ball to someone inside 6 metres, but he's out on the sideline. So by passing to someone on the sideline, it's not from where a probable goal. So the blue defender punches the ball, okay, and it then rebounds to another blue player. So what should happen in this scenario? It has to be a minor foul. Okay, so the minor foul is called because in the rules, if you punch the ball not from where it's going to be a penalty goal, then it's a minor foul. So what we call then is, we just call it a normal minor foul because a probable goal wouldn't have happened. And the reason it's a minor foul is because the white player passed it, the blue player blocked it with a clenched fist, and it went to another blue player. So there's your minor foul. Now, what would happen in the same situation is, if a white player passes the ball, a blue player blocks it by punching it, and it goes back to a white player or a white player, then it's just play on. So it's only a minor foul is if the attacking team, if the defending team blocks it and it goes to a defender again. Does that sort of clear it up a little bit, or is it still mud?
Crystal for me, crystal clear. Doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't. We just got to remember that it's from where a probable goal would have been scored when the defender punches. That's the only time it's a penalty. If it's on the sidelines, can't be a penalty.
So Danny, if it's a shot, what happens?
If it's a shot and the defender who's inside 6 meters blocks it with a punch, definitely has to be a penalty.
And if he's outside, the defender is outside 6 meters?
Exclusion. Can only be a penalty inside 6 meters. So, and that's we're talking from going for a shot here too. We've got to remember that.
Okay, let's go to scenario number 2.
Okay, this is another good one. An attacking player is 3 meters in front of goal, starts balking. The goalkeeper in front of him jumps towards him. He hits him on the arm, and the ball drops out of his hand. Okay, it's a lot of things going around about, if the person's holding the ball and you hit them on the hand, and they're in front of goals, and it has to be a penalty. But in this situation, it's not a probable goal because he has to beat the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper is in front of the attacker. Okay, so he's in the cage, he's in the goals, so that the attacking player has to beat the goalie. So even though he's holding the ball and the goalkeeper comes out and hits his arm or hits his ball, then it's play on, because that goes back to the old rule of you're holding the ball. So that's if he was hit from behind, of course it's a penalty. But he was fouled. Well, he wasn't fouled. He was hit from in front, and he's holding the ball, which reverts back to the old rule. He's holding the ball, so the referees call play on. So we don't get them confused of hitting from behind and hitting from in front.
That's pretty straightforward.
Good.
Okay. Danny, although that scenario is straightforward to a referee, to the crowds and players, that's confusing, because from behind it's a penalty, from in front it's not.
Yeah. And this is where as a referees, we have to have an understanding of what's actually going on, and it's pretty hard to say at one stage we can't say he's holding the ball and then he is holding the ball, and it's very hard to explain to the crowd that he's holding the ball. And some people say, well, if he's holding the ball and gets from behind, it's a penalty. But unfortunately, if he's got the goalie to beat, and the goalie comes out and he's holding the ball and he's hit by the goalie, then it's play on.
Okay, he's facing the goalie though, so I thought
he's facing the goalie. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to scenario 3.
Okay, this happens a lot more than we realise in games. An excluded blue player and a blue team player substitute enter the field of play simultaneously when the official table gives the signal for the re-entry. At the time of the re-entry, the white team has possession of the ball. So what we're saying here is a blue player's been excluded. He's gone to the re-entry box. The coach has said, I'm going to sub you and have another player substitute come in. So they're both sitting in the box, talking to each other, whatever's going on. And then the official at the table puts the flag up, puts the blue flag up for the player to come in. So instead of the player excluded hops out, both players come into the field of play. So in that situation, so we've got an illegal player, not an illegal entry. So we've got 8 or 7 field players in the water. So in this situation, when you have 7 field players in the water, it's an illegal player, not a legal entry. So that player, the substitute player, and we spoke to each other the week, the substitute player is always the player that gets excluded. So he gets excluded for the remainder of the game. So he's out for the game. Once again, with substitution, and because he's the 7th field player, it has to be a penalty. So always when you have an illegal player come in, has to be a penalty because it's 7 field players in the water. So I'll say it again. So the substitute player and the excluded player both come in together. The substitute player is the one that's excluded for the remainder of the game, and a penalty is awarded to the white team.
Okay, well, I don't get why the substitute player gets the penalty when the other bloke was the one who shouldn't have come in.
No. The other player could have come in because he was called in by the table. Okay, so what happens is the coach is probably told to the player, "I want you into the re-entry box, and I want the other player to come out." So obviously they're both in the re-entry box, but they haven't spoke to each other to say, "I'm coming in, you're going out." Once the flags come up, they're one's legally can come in, but they've both come in. So they haven't spoke to each other to let them know that, mate, you're out. Now the coach says, I'm going in. The flag's gone up from the table. Both players have gone back in. 7 field players, and the goal is 8. 1 too many players. Has to be the substitute player excluded for the game with a penalty because it's an illegal player, not an illegal entry. And once that happens, a legal player has to be a penalty. So that illegal player, the substitute player, he's rolled for the game, and then another substitution comes at the appropriate time. Confusing? Yes.
Well,
it's an illegal player.
It is a little bit, but I think what will help to make it clear is what happens if the blue team has the ball. There's been a change of possession. They both come in.
Still in the legal player. Still 8 players in the water. So it's still a penalty, no matter what. 8 players in the water has to be a penalty.
Yeah, that's important because, as you know, sometimes it's a penalty, sometimes a kick out if it's just an early entry, whereas this is different.
Yeah. I think once we talk about, if we get away from the illegal entry or improper entry and we go to an illegal player, that's the big difference. A legal player has to be rolled for the game, substitution, and a penalty.
Righty.
Whew.
No more comments?
3 interesting ones.
I hope not. There it was. That was good. Thank you, Danny. Well, now it's time for our special guest on the Whistleblower, and he is one of the world's top referees. He's been to Australia. He's the president of the World Water Polo Referees Association, and joining us on the Whistleblower from Slovenia in Ljubljana, the capital, in fact. It's good evening here and good morning there to Boris Margeta. Hi, Boris.
Good morning, Australia. And regards down there. Yeah, it's morning with us, evening with you. So I hope we'll have good conversation tonight.
Absolutely. Now, not everyone's been to Slovenia, Boris. I have been lucky. Went to your hometown, but also to that magnificent place, Bled. That is so beautiful. Didn't go anywhere else, unfortunately, but that is just one of the places to go if you've never been. Can you tell us a little bit about Slovenia?
Sure. So Slovenia is, as probably you know, very small country. For your extension, we have 2.5 million citizens. Geographically, we are in the Middle Europe between Italy, Hungary, Croatia, and Austria. So generally, we were part of Hungarian-Austrian kingdom for centuries. So our mentality is more closer to Austrians. Concerning the sport, this is probably the most interesting, that we are very sport nation. President of UEFA, of European Football Association, so second biggest association in the world is Slovenian, Čeferin. Long-term president of European Olympic Committee is also Slovenian, Kocijančić. We have excellent school system of sports. So basically 90% of all children in our schools are part of one club or culture or sport. And so we are very sport nation. The north part, which I came from, is near Alps. So we are more skiers, ski jumpers, cross-country skiing. But also we have excellent basketball team. We were European champion. In volleyball, we were second. So for a small country as we are pretty excellent sportsmen, if I can say so.
So Boris, how did you get involved in water polo?
So it's connected with what I just said. So in our school we have swimming pool, and the swimming coach arrived at school when I was 6 years old. He checked few boys, girls. He picked me up for swimming. In Slovenia, the first few years is free, so the country is paying the fee. So generally everybody who is invited enters in swimming courses. After a few years of swimming, I was boring, honestly. I was boring with swimming, and water polo club have always practiced after us. And when I see ball in the water, this was my love and passion, and I start to play water polo.
So, Boris, sorry, Phil, just quickly, is the reason why you picked water polo and not basketball because you're, tall, structure?
No, but I come from Kran. Kran is my hometown. And Kran at that time, and still now, also at that time when I was starting, we were part of Yugoslavia. But Kran was the center of aquatics because we had the world champion, Boris Petric, and European champion, his brother, Darijan Petric, two excellent swimmers. So mainly 90% of children in Kran were swimmers or water polo players.
Right, and you played for the national team?
Yes, I played few years for national team of Slovenia, but at that time I became a coach as well. So my primary job was coaching. This was before I start my whistling career.
So Boris, Slovenia is not it's a good water polo country, but perhaps not as strong as Serbia, Croatia,
Sure.
and so forth. Do most of the players in Slovenia play in the other leagues, in Serbia, Croatia, Montenegro, Hungary, or within Slovenia?
No, so at the past when we had a pretty good water polo national team, not on the level of Serbia, Montenegro, Croatia. Our main team played in France, usually some in Croatia, some in Serbia. So we have few players which played abroad. But generally what we want to do together with Federation these days is to have a good senior team also here in Slovenia. Because with us is a problem that players are not professionals in water polo. Players are not paid, except few of them. That's why they go abroad. And then it's difficult to come back, of course. If they have better opportunity for practice, it's over there. And secondly, still today, swimming is our main aquatics. So water polo have difficulties to get good hours of practice. Usually water polo players practice from 9 to 11 at night, early morning on the Sundays. So it's not so attractive to put child in water polo.
Yeah, I think in Australia we have the same problem swimming.
So Boris,
I know you have because the past, if I may say, the connection between Australia and Slovenia was excellent. Your team was every year, then you probably remember, in Kran, in my hometown, for preparations and tournaments. And when I was coaching, I didn't went, but my colleague, senior coach from Ljubljana, went to Sydney for preparation with one team. And when we spoke over the phone, he said, Boris, here is unbelievable. They practice at 5 o'clock in the morning. They don't know. We European even are not alive in 5 o'clock.
Boris, you just mentioned, yes, so Australia has been there several times. And John Foxy asked a question that when he was over there, he said that you had some promising young players there. How do you keep them there? What's stopping them going to other countries to play?
So at the moment, our main problem is, so we still in junior levels. This is the when we collaborate the most with juniors, with Australia and Slovenia and exchanging players, preparation camps. So we have pretty well junior team, but we cannot keep them. Honestly, we cannot keep them. We cannot. So we don't have the system when these players want to decide, or they will be professional water polo players, or they will go to university. In Slovenia, university and education is very important. So basically they decide to go to university, or if they are very good, they leave Slovenia and they don't come back. They come back at the old age, not so old, like 35, and then they play a few more years, or they became coaches or stuff like that.
Yeah. Sorry, Boris. So with the seniors, so like as your juniors, they've gone to university, decided to say. So competition-wise, then where's Slovenia rated?
The competition, we have competition. So the first league, we have 8 teams.
Yep.
This is the finally next week or 14 days will be first time qualifications of Euro Cup in Kran. So 20 years we didn't have such a big international competition here. We have all leagues. We play league system. Okay, now is Corona. Now we adjust a little bit. But generally we play leagues under 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, and seniors. So all these categories play leagues. Under 11, we don't count. So under 11, everybody is first.
Yep.
We don't have a classification. Under 13 slowly started. So we have a lot of games, not so many quality clubs, not so well organized clubs. So some of clubs play only with youth, some with junior, but basically we have 4 aquatic centers, Maribor, Ljubljana, Kran, and Koper, so coast side. And these finals can be very interesting and not finishing well usually.
So, Boris, at what age did you take up refereeing, and can you describe the pathway in Slovenia for a referee?
Sure. Okay. I decided to become a referee. Like I said, first I was coach after I stopped to play, and during coaching I whistle as well. So the president at that time of Referee Association was Matjaž Rakovec. He is now TWPC member in Len, and he invited me to whistle there. But honestly, always my love was and passion was refereeing. I remember when I was 15 years old, I asked my father to buy me a referee flag. At that time, I was not referee, obviously, I was a player. And I watched water polo games in Yugoslavia and whistled for 13, 14, 15 years. So it was always my wish to become a referee. It's not something which happened because of university or coaching or stuff like that. And I was very lucky because Slovenia was at that time example of education of referees. So our guys also lead some education status and clinics in Yugoslavia. Probably we are one of the first European countries which have completely neutral and separate referee associations. So federation didn't have any influence on nomination and stuff like that. So it was pretty well. We had to pass at least 3 exams, theoretical and practical. So first exam was to become a member of referee association, then to whistle juniors and seniors, and the third one to be able to be sent on LEN or finalist. So it took me, I started with these activities, I don't know, around 22 years old. In 5 years old, all this path I did it, and soon become international referee.
Did they have a mentoring system where people would go and watch you, advise you?
Yeah, absolutely. I had 2 mentors. One already passed away a few years ago, and the other my personal mentor was Matjaž Rakovec, so today TWPC member. And the mentor system also I try to introduce in VVR, and it's on the high level importance. Probably one of the most important things to to get new referees in love in water polo with the passion, and especially protecting them at the beginning of our careers, because obviously if you don't have a lot of experience, you made more mistakes. So mentoring was crucial for my success in refereeing.
So Boris, do you remember your very first FINA game, and how did you feel before it?
How did I feel before, or how did I feel after?
Well, it depends on the evaluator. Both, please.
Yeah, so this is very funny story. It was not funny at that time, but today we laugh together with Phil, because Phil was a big part of this story. So honestly, at the time when I received the first FINA nomination, I didn't even know what is FINA. Who are the guys who are leading FINA? What kind of competitions are under FINA? I was very young and I received a letter from FINA. First, I Googled a little bit, what is FINA? And it was Messina, World Junior Championship Woman. So, okay, I went there, and I was first time completely alone. I didn't know nobody. I didn't know how to behave, where to go. So I met on ferry two guys with Aya white bags. I didn't know them. I go there, I introduce myself. They introduce themselves, John Whitehouse and Phil Bauer. Okay, I didn't know nobody from them. And I said, where are you from? Australia. Wow. Then start my first stupid question. Do you have water polo in Australia? What is the level of water polo in? So they were not so happy with my silly questions. Okay, we continue and nobody waited for us. So we didn't know where to go to hotel, how to come out from ferry. We go by train, by bus, by what to do. And my stupidity continued. I said, in LAN, this could not happen. I whistle few games in LAN, everybody is organized, they wait for you. They are very polite. Here in FINA, these things, I guess, don't exist. Okay, John was quiet. Phil was smiling, obviously. So finally, John Whitehouse arranged a taxi and we went to hotel. And me and Phil and myself, we go out from taxi, and John said, okay, don't worry, I will take for taxi. And he left. And then I looked to Phil and I said, who is this guy? And he said, he's General Secretary of TWPC. I said, oh, fuck. I went to my room. I went to my room.
It would be a short career.
Yeah, I went to my room. I called my wife. I said, look, Matea, don't worry. This is my first and last tournament in FINA, so I will be home more than. And next shock come after 2 days when I see nominations. And first game in the tournament, I was appointed, and my evaluator was John Whitehouse. So I come in the pool. I said, Mr. John, please, I'm very sorry. No, but he was excellent. He was very polite. So, and the end of the story was excellent friendship with Phil, which still goes on. And I was appointed on final on my first tournament. So was successful.
So obviously John thought you were still a good referee despite the question.
Yeah.
So Boris, how is your affiliation now between LEN and FINA? I know, like European is more LEN. How do you decide and choose, because there's so many competitions, which one do you go to? LEN, is LEN higher, FINA? Do we rate it? Should we rate it?
So mainly, I think we have one water polo in the world, which is FINA water polo. LEN is part of FINA, of course, and I think very important part. So the situation can be better, but it's not so bad as people are speaking around. So LEN and FINA are collaborating. Their chairmen are communicating with dates and with everything. I wouldn't go very politically into. LEN is playing under FINA rules. This we must know. All 14 days ago, we started water polo in LEN again after this lockdown. It was not easy. We had bubble. We were in hotel 24 hours per day, swimming pool hotel. We use flying substitutes. We played all the rules. So I think by time the relationship will be excellent. I'm 100% of that, and it is going. The communication channels are open.
So Len and Fina are getting closer together. As
I think so. Yeah.
It's working.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So, Boris, after being a FINA referee for about 12 months, you selected as a neutral referee to go to Sydney in 2000 to the Olympics. Were you surprised by the selection? And did you think coming from Slovenia, which wasn't a world power, helped you with your appointment?
Yeah, so first part of question, of course, it was a complete surprise. I would never expect it to be 1 year on the list and get nomination for Sydney. So for me, it was like a life dream come true. Not only that, Sydney Olympics will always be my best Olympics, not just because of it was first, but because after Sydney Olympics, I finally decided that this is what I want to do. I want to be a referee. I want to be the best referee. I want to win best games. I want to be involved in refereeing more, also in theoretically part. So it was, I can say, my life path changed completely after Sydney Olympics. The second part of the question was?
Coming from Slovenia and if not being a power, did it help?
Okay, I think this is always like tricky question. So if you come from powerful country, always is there somebody who take care for you, or at least speak with you, help you, is somebody in committee, somebody in bureau, somebody this. So if something happened, they are there. If you come from small country or non, let's say, water polo country, you are by your own. So you must find your own way. You must find, like we speak before, mentors, especially that, who are all the referees. By my experience, of course, all delegates were very helpful in my career, from John to Johnny to Alphonse, now Mark, everybody. But still, the most help which I get by my career was from all the referees. So I don't know, is it helpful to come from a small country, or would it be more difficult if I would be? I think it's you must be a little bit lucky, on the right time, prepared, excellent, because usually the chance you get once or twice, and then you wait another 5 years and the career goes away. So it's personal thing, how you are prepared to invest your time, your money for water polo, or you don't. I don't believe that the biggest the country or the powerful the country is the better way you will have, or neutral referee don't have problem, they can whistle everything. I don't agree with that also. The quality measures.
All right, Boris. Now, the Sydney Games, you said they were good personally for you. We always say that they were the greatest games ever, generally. What do you think? Did you get out and watch all the other sports and see the town, etc.?
Now, when I was on few Olympics, okay, it's difficult for me which one is the best, but the most important for me is Sydney. Especially what I love in Sydney is because you didn't destroy half of the country to build tremendous objects which nobody will use afterward. There was some, but was more, I think, the last green Olympic Games where money was not the most important thing in the world. Were very fair play games, and I enjoy it a lot.
I think Australians always say Sydney's the best game since Melbourne.
True.
Not that we're biased.
So Boris, I remember you almost drowned at Bondi Beach the day after the Olympics finished, but since then you've moved on. You've done Athens in 2004, Beijing 2008, London, Rio. So you're now equal with the most Olympics refereed by an individual at 5, and Tokyo will make 6. But in London, there was an incident, and I'd like you to talk about it and tell us how you came back from it to go to another 2 Olympics after that.
Okay. This question I still get on every interview which I have. It's unbelievable. Then in Peru, in Pan American Games, the journalist from Peru asked me the same question. So
can I just jump in? Do you give the same answer all the time?
Mostly. So yeah, it was like one black spot on my career. Of course, the game was what happened. The game was Croatia-Spain, and in the last seconds of the game, there was a direct shot outside 6-meter line. The Croatian goalkeeper get the ball, but the ball slipped under the hand. At that time, he also a little bit put the ball under the water, so I didn't see clearly, is it a goal or not? I didn't see a goal. If I would see a goal, I would whistle a goal. Because I didn't see a goal, I didn't whistle a goal. The problem, maybe I was a little bit unlucky because the same second, the game was finished. So after the game, you cannot repair decisions if the game is already finished. So together with my colleague, we didn't whistle in London anymore. It's not true that they send us home. We decided to go home. Nobody canceled our accreditation. TWPC was very helpful and standing with us together with Johnny, John, Toigarli, was difficult. For me, the most difficult thing was suffering of my family. This hurt me a lot because at that time, finally, water polo became first news also in Slovenia. So after that, there was a lot of discussion which I had with my wife. Also, I get the second child. The second daughter, Anna, when we discuss, is it worth it? Is it worth it so much time, so much efforts for disappointment like that? So after Olympics, I received a lot of phone calls, political ones, water polo ones. I apologized to Spain Federation as well. I recognize mistake, no problem about that. We spoke, no hard feelings, but the problem was because next year was World Championship in Barcelona. I was appointed and I didn't want to go. I said, no, it's too difficult. Spain was involved. I don't want to go, but finally, okay, after pressure of especially Johnny and John, I decided to go. And in the middle of Spain, so in Barcelona, again, I whistled final of World Championship and everything was well. So was not so long time when did I have doubts to become on the same level? No, sure no. Because it would be different if the game would be bad with a lot of mistakes, if I wouldn't know the rules, if I do something intentionally, then I would ask myself, am I available or enough powerful to come back? But with goal, no goal situation, about, I don't know what to do different way. I would probably whistle tomorrow the same, but thank God now we have VAR. For me, was impossible to see at that moment. Maybe I was, because I was running, this was the only person in attack. Maybe my position was bad as well. My communication with goal judge was not okay because he told me he raised the hands, but at the moment when I look at him, his hands were down. So a lot of things maybe could be done better, but to whistle a goal, if I don't see it, I cannot. So generally, I didn't have doubts on myself. More problems I had if something like this happened, that my father is suffering, my mother is suffering, the journalist can be really ugly. some articles. This was my biggest concern to decide to continue on.
Boris, this is a great story for referees. Danny will remember he was there, and you may remember you had a beer with Michael Hart and myself before you went home.
Yeah,
and I remember how you were. It was not easy. It was a dark time. And it's a mistake. As you know, we said at the time, when we were watching live, we went, no goal. It was so close. But I think the great story here is for every referee anywhere to see one of the very best referees have an error and have some doubts and fight back and still become one of the greatest referees in the world. That's a good story. And that's something every referee should remember all the time.
Absolutely, because everybody makes mistakes. Is not even the best makes these mistakes. We have some joke that sometimes God makes mistakes, but we must learn from these mistakes to be better. So like I said, I wouldn't change my decision, but maybe my position and communication with the goal judge would be different. So from every mistake we must learn, but we must stand up. The king is not the one who didn't fall. The king is one who can raise up again. So
Boris, what you're saying is, and I agree. Look, we all make mistakes. It's the game. It's what happens. So we're not all perfect. So in that situation, say a younger referee coming through makes a mistake, very despondent, doesn't know what to do. What encouragement would you give to a younger referee that made a mistake that might have changed the outcome of the game, and he's in a place where I don't want to referee anymore? What would you say to him? You know, being in that situation, how would you talk to them?
So like I said, these are the most important cases to protect young referees and to give them the way to continue. So absolutely the mistakes are there first to be diagnosed, then I made a mistake, or you made a mistake, or the young referee made a mistake. When I'm speaking with young referees, more and more problems we have because they don't want to recognize the mistake. Always is but. So no, but it is very important. First, we must recognize the mistake, and absolutely after that, use psychology, use the power which we have as an older or better or good or excellent referees, that we were there, we know how they feel, but we continued, we fight because you are good, and the good workers, the workers who work a lot, commits more mistakes than somebody who don't work, and this is normal. And if you want to save the game, to protect the game, you will commit mistakes, sometimes big one, and the result will be on the top. From the referee point of view, this result or not result is like this. In 2 minutes, they had 1 hour to decide it.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have men up, 15 men up, and only 2 goals. So can I say now, what did you do 13 times? I cannot. No, but my decision decided the winner. So only with these classifications, I don't agree, but we must recognize it. Absolutely encouragement, protection, calling him every week. How is it? I will go to him, with him, to the pool just to drink coffee, because at that time you don't want to see swimming pool even close.
Yeah.
This kind of feeling. So you remember Danny also in last World Championship. This is the way.
Yeah.
Call him in the room, go together, be together, advise. He must know that he is not or she alone.
Yeah.
This is the most important for new generation.
Absolutely.
At that time, mentors are the most important.
Yeah.
Not when they are good.
Yeah. So, and Boris, you did mention VAR, so the video. Do you think that's a good thing they've brought in?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. VAR suggests VAR for goal the first time 3, 4, 5 years ago. Because I think we were, now no more, we were probably the only team sport which didn't use technology, but the world changed. And so I am for VAR 100%, but it must be clear what can be decided based on VAR tapes and what are decisions of the referee. Who is watching VAR, who is deciding VAR, who is calling VAR. Because if we will not be careful, we'll have a lot of problems.
Yeah.
If you remember, or if you heard in Belgrade, we spoke like 2 hours what it means, the whole ball inside. From
Yes,
where?
yes, yes. Yes, correct. Yeah.
So Boris, we don't use it in Australia yet because we can't afford to use it. That's simple. But what are they using it mainly for? Is it just for goals, or is it for other things as well?
So at the moment we use VAR for three things generally in FINA. One are goal, no goal. The second, brutality, if can happen, and they can decide it later after the game. And the third one, also the time, the 30 seconds or 20 seconds of attack, because problems are outdoor with a lot of crowd. The referee cannot hear the sound of siren, which is representing the end of attack or something like that. So they can go on VAR. They check exactly is the ball on the arm or not. So these three things.
Yeah. So they don't use it for general referee decisions.
No.
Right.
So Boris, what do you think about that idea? So as you know, in Gridiron Rugby League, they can have challenges, they can review, they can wait for hours. In football now, they can go and look at whether something was right or was wrong. Do you think where it is now is where it should stay, or would you like to see it expand a bit?
If you follow Champions League football or soccer, like we call it, mainly after every game, you have discussions about VAR.
That's right.
A lot of problems are VAR, and many coaches who are pressing UEFA. I know this because our guy is president, and I also have one good friend, one of top football referees, Skomina, and they have a lot of discussion to reduce things which should be watched on VAR, because on VAR, the hand on the body. His hand on the body, but the referee see, was he pushed or not? On VAR is penalty, but generally is not.
Sure.
Then you have shoot and playing with the arm. The referee can see, is this ball going near the goal? The VAR cannot see that. He just showed the arm and his penalty. So we must be a little bit careful. For sure, I'm sure that in the future, maybe should be expanded with 2-3 things, but not for every decision. I don't believe that VAR can replace the referee decision. So the football is a good example. Slowly they are backing up a little bit. So we don't have to go to this phase. We started oppositely to use only for clear things, and then we will see in a few years.
This is a good idea. In Australia, we have rugby league, and every Monday morning, all the discussion is about the video review.
Yeah.
Not about the players.
Yes.
So Boris, the TWBC is trying to change the game for better. Do you think the latest rules and the interpretation of the new rules have made the game better to watch, easier to understand? And what rules do you think are good and what shouldn't be there, if you have an opinion on that? Yeah,
sure. So just to prepare you a little bit, if we go from beginning, TWPC is just executing what was demanded from the coaches, players, referees, all stockholders. So first we must know the reason. The water polo was slow. All team sports changed the rules few times before us. Was physical, and we play water polo because of spectators, not because of you and me, because we are from water polo families. Spectators demand fastness, intelligence, variety of different shots, and all these lead to these, let's say, big changes. But don't forget that we changed some rules also in the past. we wanted the game. We clarified the technical fouls, half of the field fouls on the other half of. So even in the past, we tried to make this game faster. With these new rules, absolutely the game is faster. We must say that. Even the skeptical part of the guys involved in this. The game is more interesting. There are more shots, more actions, more goals. So I think is no discussion is if the rules are good or not good. Of course, we are in one phase of developing some rules, which still are difficult to understand. But majority, my favorite one was that we play from where the ball is. So this is for me the most important step to the understandable and fastness, speed of the game. The most important and the most easy to understand. Okay, sooner or later we'll come to discuss about penalty rule. You have it also in your agenda.
Let's speak about the penalty rule.
Let's think about the penalty rule. Okay, let's go. So, also for penalty rule, let's say if you bring your girlfriend, or you have many, I know, but anyway,
of course.
If you bring somebody not from water polo, on the water polo game, and he watched soccer, he watched basketball, he watched handball, so he's sportsman. And you have a center forward with one player behind, with another player coming from the shoulder. These center forwards turn around, so on his back is like 200 kilos, but he's still alive. So he's Superman. He turns to the goal. These two guys kill him, and the referee don't whistle nothing but shows the ball in the hand. How will you, in God's name, explain to this person why this is nothing?
Yes.
Because on every sport, the guy with the ball in the hand is maximum protected.
Yeah.
In handball is very popular in Europe. The ball in the hand and going toward the goal is or 2 minutes or penalty, and even penalty and 2 minutes. This is how he is protected. In soccer, the same. Every attack. In basketball, every touch when you have a ball and want to shoot is penalized. So if we understand that we urgently need to do something on this part of the game of water polo, which is very important part, you know that the center forwards, they are 2 meters from the goal. This is one of the most important positions in water polo. And so this rule came out to protect the player with the ball in the hand. Of course, with this rule, becomes difficult because of different interpretations. Yes. Immediately after this rule was adopted, we had, I think we then spoke in one occasion, some game in Hungary with 17 penalties.
Yeah.
We had many games in Europe with everything was penalty. So slowly, step by step, we try to finalize that. We put inside intention to score a goal. If there is no intention to score a goal, 20% of penalties is off. If the player have intention to score a goal, like in old rules, we must use the same criterion. So if somebody comes in front of the goal with the hand and don't want to shoot, waiting for penalty, or put and wait, he touched me. No, my friend, this is no intention to score a goal. We said from the side, there is no penalty like you explained before for clenched fist. It's the same criteria. It's nothing new. So also this instruction is old. To face the goal, to go toward the goal. All these are old rules and old instructions. The only change is the ball in the hand. Yep. But generally 90% of instructions when you should whistle a penalty are old. Intention to score a goal, face to score a goal, movement towards the goal. I strongly believe that this rule must be clarified a little bit better in the future, and I'm sure it will, because we are in the process now. We cannot change and know everything about the rule in one season, 1 or 2 seasons. Unfortunately, COVID stopped this.
Yes.
And maybe some advantage rule will be also added, which would help some situations. Can you whistle after the shoot? We cannot, but we can. Good referee can feel or can see where the ball will go because of that foul. So I believe intention is good, and something should be done on this matter, because this was most ununderstandable situation in water polo. That's why people didn't want to watch the games. We are on the correct way to clarify better, and maybe to add some more things which would make the referee easiest job. So it wouldn't base everything on decision of the referee, but decision of the rule.
So Boris, in the period 2000 to 2020, there's been more significant rule changes than probably the 100 years before. There's been a lot of very significant ones, some big changes. What do you think the 2 or 3 most significant ones that actually changed the game happened between 2000 and 2020? For example, 2 hands or things like this. Yeah.
So I'm still today, I am 100% sure if we would remove 2 hands in water polo, that we would have much better game. I would forbid, if I would be in charge, I would forbid 2 hands on the body of the player anytime, from the first whistle to the end. And if you all remember, at that time, the rule changed, started to punish 2 hands fouls, tactical fouls. So they want, even 20 years ago or 16 years ago, I don't know, 2013, after World Championship in Barcelona, the intentions was the same like today. So even 20 years ago, we tried to remove these 2 hands from the body of the player, because so the rule, this was one of the most significant changes in my era. John was involved a lot of that. We spoke a lot of this rule. Half of the field was made to be any foul here with advantage in front to become a tactical foul. So to protect contra-attack, which is very, very important part of the game. The most beautiful goals are from contra-attacks, which they barely disappear from water polo. If you remember, 10, 15 years ago, we didn't have any more contra-attacks because everybody was fouled, and we changed this for exclusion. So let's say like evolution goes to the same way. And of course, like you said, today, we want more than less the same what we wanted 15 years ago, but a little bit more radical, which is good. And I think the future development of the rules will come that we will be similar like other team sports, that pressing is with 1 hand. Yeah. Pressing is allowed to control the body, not to hold at any time. And sooner or later, we will have to make a discussion about the players who are holding the ball, not only for penalty, but they are fouled with 2 hands. How is possible that this is nothing? How this will be understandable to the public? Why these defenders are doing this? Why? Because they are not punished, because the player have a ball in the hand. So generally, I think we must clear up the game. We must reduce the contact. We must remove all physicalities. If you watch other team sports, what is allowed and not. So the path is the same, Noel. And these are, for me, the most important rules. Like I said, the fastness and reducing the physical game. The most important rule, like I already said, to play where the ball is. And the second is to protect movement in what. All rules involved in this, impeding and stuff like
that. Boris, sorry, I'll just jump in there a little bit. Now, the players and coaches, it's the way the games now is more professional. The players are a lot fitter. since I've gone, since I started refereeing, even the referees now do a lot more fitness than they used to. Do you think that, like swimming, running, they do gym all the time when we're away, that can only help the referees, do you think? Being more professional?
Look, the antique Greeks already knew that harmony and good health in body is giving you good health in mind. So I think also in VVR, from the first day when we started, we promote health life. We write it down in the code of behavior. And then also FINA started, and together with Len, to demand from the referees that they must be fit, not only because of camera, but it's proven who are involved professionally in sport and nutrition. They know if you are fit, your oxygen goes to your brain much faster and much easier, even on adrenaline situations. So you can recover in half seconds. If you have problem with your weight and you are not prepared, your decisions will be much slower, and we will not be so correct as if you are fit. So I strongly believe, like sport which we are doing, we should live this sport, which means swimming, jogging, running. Referees are sportsmen.
Yeah.
By clarification in Wikipedia, referee is sportsman. He's part of the sport, and he must live like that, and he must behave like that.
Boris, can I just track back a little bit about referees in general? So in Australia, we're working on 3 things for our up-and-coming referees. Naturally, the rules, but we're working very much on positioning and the knowledge of the game. Would you agree with that, or would you add something else?
No, of course, I would agree. First of all, basic is to know the rules. When you know the rules, when you come to the pool, forget the rules and follow flow of the game. Because by knowledge which you get by knowing the rules, this flow of the game will follow you. You as a referee, you are a teacher, like a coach. They teach together. They teach and help the players to be the best. And for me, one of the most important thing, which I can say VVR started, because never in my life, nobody in my career spoke about the movement of the referee. For me, from my experience, this was one of the most important things. That's why we made in VVR, and we started this subject, a lot of presentation, which we use in LEN schools, in FINA schools, how important is movement, or like you call it, positioning of the referee. What generally happens after the game? Okay, center forward, mistake, you didn't exclude this player. Okay, but I thought he was, no? Okay, penalty, you didn't whistle penalty. Okay, sorry. But never nobody asked why you didn't whistle penalty. I asked the referee, my colleague, why you didn't whistle penalty? I didn't see clearly. Okay, why you didn't see clearly? He was turned on the other side. He was turned on the other side. Where were you? I'm on 2 meters. It's written that I must be in 2 meters. Where is written? You must see. Go on 15 meters, but you must see. You are a referee, you are attacking referee. Of course, here and then you can receive some help from your colleague, but you must control the situation. So you must move all the time. A referee is never still. Go out, come back. Go out, come back. And this kind of, also if you are in movement, you are more relaxed. You know, the stress goes with walking. So this part which you say positioning, or I call it movement, is one of the most important things which you must start to work immediately with young referees. Because wrong movement is difficult to when you wrong move for 10 years, nobody will change you.
Okay, that's Phil's trying to pound that down to Australian referees. And Boris, we have a question in our Q&A box from Connor Davis. Hi, Boris. Do you follow Australian water polo? And if so, what do you think are the main areas that Australian referees and players need to improve in, so that we can be more competitive on the world stage?
I am following, especially as my connection with Dan. We share some videos also with Danny, with Flav, together. What should be done better? So generally, I think the, how to say, maybe it's more difficult in Australia than in Europe. I'm missing the chemistry between referees. You must know that every game, 2 referees must become 1. They must move together. They must follow each other together. They must help each other together. They must speak with each other. I remember when I was here the last time for clinic, and the first thing which I saw in the pool, 2 guys don't like each other. They whistle the game, but they don't like each other. It's impossible.
14 in Brisbane.
But it's very important. The chemistry between referees and the movement on the game. We work at that time a lot of, I don't know now, it did feel succeed about these movement things. And another thing, signalization. What I'm missing from there, also when Danny started, was pretty much the same. I am convinced that signalization of all referees in the world must be the same, or more than less the same. That's why it doesn't matter to whom you whistle, because the signalization is universal. The signalization of attack, the helping. I will give you a few examples. I know many times I receive question, okay, 2 players change of possession, center forward defender remain and struggle 2-3 seconds, what do you do? And I say, remain there and control them. And when they look at you, show them to go. 90% of the players will go, believe me, will go. If you just walk away, then something can happen. These are maybe small things or small details. So I would advise your referees to open up a little bit to the players, to communicate with the players, not by speaking, but by eyes, by grimace of the face. Suppose advantage. Here is exclusion in front of me, but there is advantage 3-on-1. How many Australian referees will wait? The player who was fouled, of course, is emotional and angry because I don't whistle. But if I remain here and just show him there is advantage, and the player is calm down. He said, okay, referee saw. Okay, there is advantage. Okay, ball is there. Okay, no problem. So maybe to work more on these small human communications first between referees, to be more homogeneous, to be more friendly, to be more open. Don't just follow the book, open up a little bit. But this is not a critic. In Australia, that the guys which I know were and are excellent referees, not just Daniel, so Nicole and few other guys. The level is high, we must say that. Maybe I'm missing a few younger guys to have, like around 30 years old, which can be material for the future 10 years.
Boris, can I just ask, with LAN and with FINA, do you get appointed with another referee for numerous games with the same referee, or do you get a different referee most games?
No, mainly different referees, especially when this is important, when I start to work with Len about tutoring and protecting new generation. For the last 3-4 years, we were creating one group of young referees, and they were usually appointed to the top referees. I wouldn't go into the names because I will forget somebody, but for sure in 4 or 5 years, Danny knows them because they are part of World and FINA as well. In 3-4 years, we create 4 or 5 very good young referees with this kind of nominations.
So Boris, just moving a bit on from that, I wanted to talk about WWR for a second. As you remember, Aya was there. Many young people will not remember Aya. It was good intentions perhaps, but not much happened. And then I know you were the driver behind WWR. I was around in those days. Do you think that it's grown to where the people who set it up wanted to go to? And do you think how much more it can develop?
Okay, if we go from the beginning, I was not on the chair at that time, so nothing was going on. Okay, a little bit was going on. I think mainly problem is because people don't know what is going on. Now, for me, do I have to say that for 2 or 3 years we are fighting with FINA at that time that we would like single rooms? How many of these new guys knows that? That before double room was standard, and nobody even asked that we would like single room, because tomorrow morning you have very important game and you cannot do it, because if somebody is snoring or coming late, it's difficult to concentrate and prepare for the game. So this was probably one of the first successes of VDR in the past, so long time ago. Separate dressing room for ladies, status of the referee, so 4 stars hotel, per diem. Thank God for new TWPC in FINA, because they were really going to open all doors for us. Immediately our discussion come, and one of the first promises of Mark and Lolo was that World League will be paid by FINA, not by federations, because federations usually didn't pay. So in all these matters where we are involved.
Boris, can I just jump in there? How hard is it to organise this stuff? You know, you said like all referees being paid now at World League. How hard was that to get that across?
Well, if we would have 2-3 hours, I would explain it.
So it was hard.
No, then it's not easy. It's really is not easy.
So I thought you just smiled and they gave the money. Come on.
No, generally, I think that VDR should be one connection between FINA, LEN, and all referees in the world based on education. Education of referees is main target of VDR. That's why we are preparing all these videos, all online tests. We were the first who put this online. Like you are the first probably with this excellent webinar, which I follow also the others, not just this one. So I think when I became a chair in Rio, we had like 75 members. Today we have 300 and more. Because I would like that VVR is open association for everybody. In Slovenia, all young referees, which are promising, must be members of VDR. I'm not speaking about international referees. I'm speaking about national referees, because for them is even more important than for us international, because this kind of information we will get. All Slovenian national referees who want to whistle the first division must be members of VDR. They must send me the results of tests, of videos, of stuff like that. So, example, the video explaining penalty shot. VVR was the first who make it. This video had 5,000, 6,000 viewers in 14 days. So this is important. So we had the guts to explain it. Many people liked the video, and they called me and said, okay, now is more understandable. It's still not excellent, but for sure it's more understandable. So this is the meaning of VVR. The meaning of VVR is not have a shirt, or to have a badge, or to have a belt, or to have a bag. I'm blood donor for 25 years. 25 years I didn't receive nothing, but I am blood donor. Whenever I ask him, what will I get? Of course, VVR became a status, a symbol. VVR is accepted with FINA. VVR was invited on first rules conference in Budapest. VVR is now part of the group in FINA, rules subcommittee, together with Don. Don, if you are here, my best regards. Every 14 days we are working. So it's yes, a lot of things changed, Noel, from the beginning. I think on the right way.
I think it's a lot of credit. I remember the days of IR, and I think WWR has been fantastic and has grown very well. I think the dream of what people had at the start is coming true.
Thank you very much.
Boris, so we've got an Australian audience. Someone that just referees club games in Sydney, in Brisbane, or in the country, can they join WWR?
Absolutely, absolutely. We have few members. We have few members who are 16 years old. There's one guy from Bosnia who is referee, 16 years old, and he's a member because he likes to read the articles from every big competition, from every World Championship, European Championship, Junior, Youth. In 14 days, when the championship is finished, there are instructions what we agreed on FINA level in the competition. So everybody can be like I said, especially for this guy who is club referee, is interesting to become VVR, to be connected with the world, to see the last changes, to see what is going on the world in water polo.
And these days, Boris, how much does it cost to become a member?
It costs $40.
US
so it's
dollar?
like, what did you say?
I said US dollars, 40 US dollars?
40 US dollars. Yeah. Per year. This is a year annual. It's like $2.50 per month.
Is all the information on www.pra.org?
Yeah.
Yes.
All informations are there, and not only this. Flahive is a member of committee. I think he can explain very fast. So if you want to join, of course, you go on our web page. Everything is explained there, or you can send me email or Danny.
Yeah, it's very straightforward on the website. It's not a problem. Or if they want to, they can just get in contact with me, and I'll help them out. So that's not a worry. So, Boris, I've got another question for you. Getting away from a bit of with water polo, but away from WWR. We had Adam Gregorian on here, the USA women's coach. We've had Dennis Kemney on here as well, and they both said that after the game they like to get away and have a beer and talk about stuff. Do you think that's a good idea for the referees to have a beer after the game and just relax and discuss what happened?
But you think to speak with coaches, to drink beer together with coaches, or
not so much?
Because depends if they win or lost.
Only if they win, we talk to them. If not, we go to the referees. But do you think to relax? Just
Danny wants you to endorse beer drinking by referees.
No, absolutely is necessary. Is necessary that after the game, especially important if you don't have a good game or good day, to go, to join, to discuss with the colleagues. It's not about drinking beer, of course. It helps sometimes to relax faster, but the discussions and the questions and the answers in this connected group like we are, after the game is very, very positive. Sometimes we find the answers which we didn't know before, and we usually do it every day. Every day after when I whistle, always I call, then you, few other 6, 7, 10 people, we go, we discuss about his game, we discuss about my game. Sometimes we don't agree with some decisions, but we find solution, because next day we must give the same solution on the same problems. So it must be done, absolutely. The worst thing is that after the game, the referees say bye-bye, bye-bye, and go on the other way, and they discussed it with the delegate 3 minutes. It's not possible.
This is one of the biggest problems here because people drive to the game, the referees, they go home. They don't go and talk after the games. It's one of the big
but they should drink one coffee or juice for half an hour. Nothing will change in half an hour.
Yeah.
They can remain. Was you satisfied with my performance? Yes, no. I think maybe it was too physical. What can we do next time to get less physical? I told you whistle more. Yeah, but you enter in my area. Oh, what is your area? This is my area. No, it's not your area. So all these things must be solved after the game in one normal environment, with relaxed environment.
Boris, I have a question here from John Fox, and I don't know if you can answer it, but were you refereeing during the 2003 European Championships in Kran? And
yes.
Were you there when they had the riots at the pool when Croatia played Serbia?
Yes. I was refereeing the bronze medal game, Hungary-Russia, if I remember correct. And during my game, these crazy spectators arrived on all roofs, and also during my game, it was terrible. Really, it was terrible. It was, I think, too soon after the war in ex-Yugoslavia. The tensions were still too high. Kran was selected to show that sport is not politics, like one neutral terrain. Honestly, we as a small country, we didn't have enough police. We didn't have nobody. We have 5 policemen in the horses because we are very, very quiet citizens. We don't protest. We don't do nothing. And that was disaster. Really. They destroyed everything.
So Boris, what actually happened? Did they pull the seats up and throw stuff into the pool?
The swimming pool was rebuilt, was new, all seats, everything. They destroyed everything, nothing left. All the seats were gone. The montage seats gone.
Yep.
They were throwing people from the wall. It was really, really ugly and sad. On the other hand, the popularity, this is statistic, true statistic. Next year, over 200% more boys go to play water polo in the clubs. You know, the popularity was tremendous at that time. But okay, the life goes on. And what I need to say, the players were excellent. The Croatians and Serbians, very friendly, shaking hands, showing to the public, calm down. You know, the players were really, really professional. I think Fox will agree if he watched. The players were really fantastic. But the crazy people are everywhere.
You can't help that.
Now, Boris, we're running out of time as usual here because it's been a fascinating interview. A one-word answer I need from Scotty Schweikel. To be a top-level referee, do you believe it's important to have played at a high level? Yes or no?
Playing a high level? Yes.
Yes. Okay.
But by the quality, you must get the high level.
Yeah. All right.
Before you whistle the high level, you must get the quality to whistle high level.
I need very quick answers here, right? This is one from Phil. He asked it every guest. Best pool. Let's best pool in Australia.
Don't say Balmain.
Don't say Balmain.
Brisbane.
Valley. Okay. The most exciting game you've officiated in?
Rome World Championship. Serbia, Montenegro was one country against Spain. 2 extra times, 15 penalties. The game was like almost 2 hours long, together with Marko Ganov.
There's plenty of pressure there. Are you available to come back to Australia?
Whenever you need it.
We'll buy you a beer.
Yeah.
Is there one player that you hated refereeing?
No. White and blue. I don't have favored and less favored one. No.
Okay. And do you see yourself as a role model for younger referees?
Not a role model, but maybe teacher, yes, or mentor or tutor, call it like whatever you want. I'm enjoying helping guys who are interested to become good water polo referees, because the word thank you, which you receive then in few years, means a lot. Sure.
Fantastic. Boris, it's been an absolute pleasure. We could go on for another hour, but we can't. We appreciate your insights into water polo, and I'm sure we will talk again very, very soon. Thank you for being and taking the time for joining us on The Whistleblower.
Thank you very much for invitation. I wish you all good season. I hope you start to play as soon as possible, that Corona will go on. Now you must drink one beer. I will drink it here. It's not too early anymore. So thank you very much, guys. I love you. Stay well.
Thanks, Boris.
Thanks,
Danny
Boris.
will certainly be drinking a beer after this. Now, that wraps it up, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. Noel, Phil, Danny, once again, Boris, Scotty in pre-production, Noel for pre-production too. There he is. Give us a smile. Yeah, okay. And our next episode of The Whistleblower will be on Monday, the 7th of December. And our special guest, the Australian Water Polo CEO, Richard McInnes, which should be a very good episode. Gentlemen, once again, thank you. And everybody, we will see you in a fortnight's time on The Whistleblower.
Great.